Yay! George, it's only because we're talking about earthquakes and volcanoes. All right, James Kaufman, World News Report today. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to do a volcano and earthquake update and include some other weather anomalies for the first day of September. And pardon me, usually when we do this type of thing, everything seems to go real well with this software for some reason. So, let's get down to it, see what's going on. We're going to start out, guys, guessing how many volcanoes erupting around the globe. And this is, of course, not according to me. It's according to volcanodiscovery.denmark. And what I will do is tell y'all the last number I remember, we have not done this in a week or two, was about 81 or 82, maybe 83 or 84 volcanoes erupting. The most we've ever seen is 89 erupting. And the fewest we've ever seen both this year was 39 erupting. So it leaves anywhere in the middle of that, or actually those are just where we've been before. We can always go further in either direction. So I'm going to get to counting. I'm going to guess real quick that it's around 80 volcanoes active. The ones in red are under what they call a full eruption, and the ones in orange are under a minor eruption. When we get to a regular map, we'll also see volcanoes that are in yellow that are awakened, and, well, they have different aspects going on, like they're spewing gases or lava, but they don't consider it an eruption, although they consider eruption near. Here we go, guys. I'm going to call out a number every once in a while just to keep myself on track, like here, 6. 6. $30 to the number, 33, 35, 38, 41, well, that's going to be 50. 50 right there. 60, 2, 4, 6, 8, 72, 4, 6, 8, 10, 80, 82, and I believe this is going to do us 82, 83, 84. So 84 volcanoes. I think Mark wins the guessing game. 84 volcanoes, it appears, are erupting currently, and this can change at any second. Any second. This is going to be September 1st. I expect this to go up in September. Let's see, 20, 25. I expect this to go up in September. We'll see if it does, in fact, go up in September. Let's keep going. All right, so a lot of those that don't watch don't realize that the Canadians don't work on what? They don't work on Fridays, Mondays, Saturdays, Sundays. They only work a half a day on Tuesdays and a half day on Thursdays. So they also have this deal where they're the only country in the whole world, even Russia and China, share their information, that don't share their information with the rest of the world. So what do we have? No information. Their last earthquake is always circled in purple here, and it's going to be marked on the 29th, which is, I'm guessing, what is that? Thursday? It's 11/11. Make a wish. The 29th. Let's see, no, excuse me. It's going to be Friday. I actually covered one on Friday, and then they went home. So they just don't do work until Tuesday after lunch. So we're going to get no information. Regularly we have some kind of activity in some of these salt mines, in the areas that they're drilling oil and gas, in this area here. And then this is the area where we have our subduction situations, and this is all volcanic up here. We'll continue. Looks like we had a pretty big quake of 5.0. I think this had a tsunami warning with it. You can see it's very close to at least one volcano, Katmaya volcano, on the peninsula. We can call that mainland USA if you want to get real technical. It's on the peninsula and not on the Aleutian Islands. But this volcano was obviously offshore on the North American Pacific Plate boundary right here. What other? Hey, Miss Kathy. Hey, Miss Tiffany. What other big quakes do we see today? We saw 5.0 over on the peninsula of Russia, where we've been seeing. Well, we saw a swarm last week and a swarm the week before. It's been fairly quiet. We have 7 volcanoes erupting in the small area here, which is a lot more than we've seen. And that's that same earthquake we saw from the other side. Right? All right. Let's keep going. I've always wondered, well, they have this one darker than all the rest of them. Can y'all visually see that, or is it just me? This one isn't. It's not even. They don't even put that on the legend. It's dark maroon. It should be maroon, orange, and yellow. Yellow awakening, orange in minor eruption, maroon in major eruption, and then there's this. I mean, this must be the Great Lebowski. Alright, not a lot going on. We're going to drop back to 4.0s. We did have those big quakes in Afghanistan up here. We did have a swarm of 6.1 yesterday with a bunch of aftershocks. And I will say that I did see video from the area, and it completely destroyed an entire town. Hundreds and hundreds of people have passed, and thousands are injured. I just can't imagine. But let's just say they built the town on a fault line, and they don't build with the same requirements that we would if building on the San Andreas fault or another fault like that. Alright, up near Turkey, we've had a 4.0. Look at all of the volcanoes awakening around the Aegean Sea and around, of course, Italy. It's because it's about to get biblical here. And where is that great earthquake like nothing anyone's seen before, that rolls the skies up and sends the tsunami going to occur? It's going to come right from the Aegean Sea right here. And we're starting to see that activity right before our very eyes. It went from nothing to something. Alright, around Indonesia, it's been very quiet. Around Malaysia and Indonesia, very quiet. We have a 4.5 here, Bandera Sea, a 4.1 here, 4.3 up near the Philippines. We have 4 volcanoes erupting, and a 4.3 here, north of that, south of Taiwan, north of the Philippines, and that's Luzon, a 4.5. That's the one that scared my buddy home. All right, he's now not with us anymore. He took a booster, got boosted on out of here. There's a 4.2, and these people in Japan will not learn. They just keep building. Everyone thinks that nuclear energy is clean energy. I will never understand it. The smartest minds on the earth can't see that the first nuclear plant that we've ever built, Hanford on Long Island, is still radioactive, and it's killed hundreds of people that have tried to grab the rods. This meltdown in Fukushima happened in 2011. They've had to close the plant, the city, the state. There's actually a province called Fukushima Province. And it's just getting worse. It's not getting better. But since then, they've built another 12 or 15 new nuclear power plants. They have 21 trillion with a T, in the cleanup. To build a new plant, it only costs $3 or $4 billion. So let's just build new ones, shall we? All right, over to Papua New Guinea. We got a decent sized quake there at 5.0. Lots of activity from the volcanoes in the area. Of course, everyone knows that this is Zealandia, the continent rising out of the ocean. Will include New Zealand, who's trying to make a land grab for the minerals, i.e. the United Nations, on this part here, and New Caledonia, which is under here, and really up here Fiji, Tonga, etc. We had a 4.4, a 4.7, a 4.1, all in this major fault that is pretty much the east coast of Zealandia Rising. This is the basic outline. Everyone's got a different opinion, but the basic outline of the 8th continent rising up out of the ocean. See if there's anything else to discuss. Wow, look at the swarm once we dial it back to a 4.0 happening up on the Russian peninsula there. Now we had some big quakes there. That's where we had the 8.8. That's where we had a 7.46. But it's still rocking and rolling. It's been on and off, on and off. That's the line of volcanoes that goes right into Hawaii. There's Kilauea right there. Kilauea is down to not erupting. Those two volcanoes in Hawaii are on and off all the time. All the time. Alright, what do you say, Michael? Well, not for me, but I wish. Thank you. Alright, let's see what we've got here, anything important. We will talk about Mexico here, this 4.8 in Playa. We've got another Mexican quake, a 4.0. I'll zoom in a little bit here. In Central America, which we all know is part of North America, we have a 4.0, we have a 4.0, we have a 4.1, 4.0, and we have lots of volcanoes erupting. You'll see this PM 2.5, a deadly gas being spewed into the Gulf of Mexico here in a bit. And then Puerto Rico, this is actually going to be the Dominican Republic, and that's going to be Puerto Rico here. Dominican Republic is half of Haiti. It's just one island with a line between it. Dominican Republic, a nice place to go. Haiti, they'll barbecue you and eat you. Quite a difference if you've been to both. Alright, and down into the Peruvian-Chilean wedge. We have a 4.0 here, 4.8. Let's see if we grab this other one here. 4.8, come the other way. a 4.1, a little bit south of that in Chile, still a 4.4. We do have finally, a lot of volcanoes awakening and going off in Chile. The Peruvian-Chilean wedge here, we've been waiting for that for, I guess, about 5 years now, it seems like. I think that's about how long we've been waiting. Alright, let's drop back and get the picture of everything going on. Alright, we'll kind of start out up here in Iceland. You can see we have 2 volcanoes in minor eruption, 1 awakening, 1 on the Reykjanes Point with a 2.1 under it, magma moving. That's where we lost our biggest geothermal plant in the world. And then out here on the Azores Islands, which is part of Portugal, believe it or not, we have 1 volcano awakening and magma movement, a 2.1 and a 2.3 under that. Way far south, Cape Verde, we have another volcano awakening. La Palma. It's been quiet tonight. And as we move over to Italy, Edgar Casey, he used September 25th, 2025 as his due date. He picked out 2 volcanoes that would have to go off on that date for it to be the end of times. And that was Etna, which I believe is... we'll zoom in so we can find. There's Etna. It's been going off pretty much ongoing. We have 2 in full eruption, 2 awakening here. Most of them are on Sicily or in between Sicily. And then we have what I keep pointing to as far as a biblical area with this absolutely huge swarm right here. 1 volcano awakening. We didn't see a single earthquake here for 4 years. Now all of a sudden all we see are earthquakes here when Israel is surrounded by 5 or 7 of the Islamic folks that are going to tear them apart. God takes care of business. So Israel's here. We expect the earthquake to come from this area here. Every island you see in the ASEAN, every one of these is a volcano. Every single island that you see here is a volcano. And we would expect, based on the literature, since it always seems to be right, that a tsunami would be created. That's why they talk about going to the highest hilltops, the highest mountains, rooftops. Don't grab your coat or cloak, etc., etc. This is Jerusalem. The West Bank is right here, the Islamic part. Lebanon, Gaza is right here where it meets Cairo. And right now, Israel's pretty much surrounded by all their foes. So this could pop off at any time. I know a lot of you guys don't know, but this is a CIA MI6 stronghold. It's where a ton of the servers and information are being held in the world. And, well, Great Britain has a huge air base here in Cyprus, and the CIA is running the show. So they took it over during what's called the 3-Day War, and that's when Turkey stomped Greece's ass for 3 days and took what they wanted to. But Cyprus, guys, when I trace a lot of my URLs back, I'm trying to figure out who's doing what, they always go back to Cyprus. Just letting you guys know. Alright. Hey, Miss Koch, good to see you. Alright. Let's continue, shall we? We can all see, and I'll explain something to you guys. These are the Himalayan mountains. This is the biggest caldera on Earth, second biggest. the biggest one's on Mars. It's called Xinjiang. And I'm not going to butcher it, but you can see the Himalayan mountains have caught all the magma explosions. These are mud volcanoes. There's a lot of mud in here, and you can see that the Chinese, see the hard white line here? That's where they selected to end their country after the last eruption. Now, if you want to get technical, the entire peninsula here, Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, Vietnam, Cambodia, it's been built by this one volcano right here. The white line was the last eruption. You can see the magma went almost to where they drew the lines. So you can see that Hanoi and Laos and Burma, it was still built by that volcano, but just not during the last eruption. So always a good idea when you see a swarm here, which we don't see tonight, to be worried. All right, down through Singapore into Indonesia, lots of magma moving under all these active volcanoes. And go right back up to the Philippines here. Again, everything in burgundy is heavy eruption. Everything in orange is minor eruption. Everything in yellow is awakening. And obviously, everything under that, these shallow quakes, is magma movement. And I will show, because we have some new folks here, I'll show y'all what Zealandia is. Zealandia is a continent. They call it the 8th continent, and it's rising up out of the ground with that 5.0 Papua New Guinea. This is going to be Tonga. Rods of God hit, and Fiji, and there's going to be New Zealand. Just a swarm here. They're going to call that, there's going to be two. We have White Island, Whale Island, and White Island. Why do I notice that? Because White Island's right there too. Now we might have gotten the count off because I don't believe that we counted Erebus. So if we said 83, it might have been 84. But I think Mark still won no matter what it was. So I don't think it's that important. I am going to show you all what Zealandia is. When y'all know it, I already have it keyed up. Alright, everyone has a different idea of what Zealandia looks like. And this is kind of what I think it looks like. Not a real big picture, so we'll make it bigger. This is Fiji, Tonga up here, and there's Papua New Guinea over here. And see, they have this in purple, but I believe that it covers all of this area too. The area in purple is what New Zealand is trying to land grab. They're calling it their continental shelf because of all the minerals associated with this area. Problem is they're not a continent technically. They're just an island. There's only 7 continents that get continental shelves. So they're arguing with the UN currently about that. And in the meantime, everyone's wondering who's going to control all the minerals that are coming up with Zealandia as it rises out of the ocean. There's a pretty better picture maybe here. See if there's what I consider a perfect picture, right? This is a pretty good picture here. And y'all can see it goes right up here to Tonga and Fiji and goes right over here to Papua New Guinea. There's supposed to be a strait that it leaves between Australia and Zealandia. Here's New Zealand. Here is, gosh, James, New Caledonia, the island here. And this is the area that New Zealand's trying to claim as a continental shelf. Just letting you guys know that don't know. Alright. Alright, we did that. We covered that. We're back up here. We got a lot going on here. We're actually going to bounce over to the other side on where my plate boundaries. I like my plate boundaries to be in place. We're seeing a swarm right here on the North American Pacific plate boundary. Anchorage, 50% of everyone that lives in Alaska live right there in that little bitty town. And then Mount Spur and Mount Hayes are right here. Famous in every which way, from every which way. Mostly from aliens and flying saucers. But very famous. Very famous stuff. Alright, so we talked about the Peruvian-Chilean wedge. A light mention, South Sandwich Islands, volcanoes in full eruption, along with, we've got Herd Volcano awakening. You can see up here, the area around Turkey and Greece is awakening. We talked about this area here. We talked about this. Alright, we'll finish up here and go to the next slide. Right, two areas I want y'all to look at. The plate boundary stops right here. It starts right here in Taiwan. Taiwan is a nightmare. That 3.5 and 3.7, and it's filled with millions of people. This little bitty island here, taking all of the industry from all of China and put it in Taiwan, and they don't have a plate connection. It's very strange. And then here we had 3 nuclear power plants just finished right in here, and they just had a 2-1 here. All these volcanoes are now awakening. What scientists would say, yeah, build it here on this volcanic ridge, where another volcanic ridge comes up to meet it, where another volcanic ridge is coming this way, where we know all of Japan is a volcanic island. Of course, here's Fukushima right here, still not cleaned up, a big mess. Now this is the North American plate, Pacific plate, Eurasia plate, and Indonesian plate here. And what kind of problem do we have here, James? There's no plate connection here, and there's no plate connection here. So this is huge. There's also more pressure on these 4 plates than anywhere on the globe. Anywhere on the globe. And remember, every little bump y'all see out under the ocean is called the seamound. And by seamound, they mean active volcano. Alright, active volcano. Alright, we can see that around Anchorage, it's a lot more activity than the world map shows us. And we'll zoom in, and Anchorage is that little white speck right there. 50% of everyone that lives anywhere in Alaska lives right there, because all the boats go out from Anchorage. We have Mount Spur and Mount Hayes, and Mount Spur actually was active the other day. Spur and Hayes have both gone off 3 times in 30 years. I expect more. We're also having a swarm right here today. A swarm right there today. And let's see what we've got here in the old USA. It's going to be all fracking. I put together most of these plays myself. Klein shale, fracking. I don't know what caused that. This is Wawa Springs right here, the biggest shale volcano on Earth. And that's what caused or created the Grand Canyon. Must be 20,000 volcanic fissures, or peaks, volcanic peaks surrounding Wawa Springs, the biggest shield volcano on Earth. They say that they didn't see this till 2014. I find that hard to believe. We must be dealing with a bunch of dummies, a bunch of ding-dongs. Wow, there's nothing going on. We did have some activity on St. Helens and Rainier. This is probably Mount Hood right here. Yep, Government Camp, Oregon, Mount Hood. A very small quake at a 0.3. So I wouldn't get worried about that whatsoever. Please notice that nothing's coming out of Canada, and no one's getting any information out of Canada, no matter who you are. We'll have a couple quick fun guesses here, and we'll move on. This is going to be Cobb Mountain Geothermal Unit. It's going to be on Clear Lake Volcanic Range. Cobb Mountain is the actual mountain that this unit's on. If you work there every day, you have to deal with in between, I guess, about 12 and 90 earthquakes every day. Hope you get paid a lot of money. My question to you guys is, how many earthquakes, if you worked there for the last 24 hours, did you have to deal with? And let's go ahead and count this one, because I'm sure you felt it. I'm going to make a guess too. Let's see. It's going to be, I'm going to say 42, 44. I'm bringing it home with 44. Nuclear power is so terrible. I can't name one, and I've been over every nuclear power plant that we've ever built in the U.S. and elsewhere. They've never what's called reclaimed one of them and brought it back to its original state. Never one of them. You can't name one of them that's been reclaimed. After we lost so many houses in some of the hurricanes, the insurance makes us reclaim the house, which means tear the foundation down and plant the grass and reclaim the area. Well, that doesn't happen with nuclear power plants. If you know of one that's been reclaimed, please let me know. Well, but I don't think it exists. Alright, so how many earthquakes went on here on Cobb Mountain, part of the Clear Lake Volcanic Exchange? Here's Clear Lake. This is the Caldera. Goes in a circle around the Caldera. And I said, what did I say? 40-something? 44. Looks like we got a 48, 40. We got a couple guesses in. 28. I did terrible. Michael? I think Mr. Michael beat us all. Good guess. A little smoke in your diet never hurts, right? That's what I've noticed. Alright, y'all call this the North American Pacific Plate Boundary. I'm going to have to call it, well, y'all call it the San Andreas Plate. I'm going to have to call it the North American Pacific Plate. It's a little busy, but nothing to really speak about. There's that 3-7 there, and Tres Pinos, and this is the Juan de Fuca Plate being pushed under North America. That looks pretty damn good today. And then right here on the tip of Baja, we have a 4.8 that came in as a 5 at I think that's a default depth of 10 kilometers. In other words, they didn't know how deep it was. These are all fracking, and I think that'd be it. Let's see, that's that quake we saw in the Dominican Republic. Y'all remember the quake in Haiti where the Clintons made out like banshees? That was the deadliest quake ever recorded in written times, almost 400,000 people lost their lives. And 399,000 of them, the Clintons killed. No, I'm kidding. But almost 400,000 people lost their lives. There's been much bigger quakes around the globe. I've been over the 10 biggest quakes. That does not even come close unless you use body count to measure your quake size. You know what? I've been looking at it all day. Edik Yapsulim all day. There's not one new report out. Maduro did come out and threaten the U.S. I don't think that he personally has... Well, I know he's got 800-kilometer missiles, and those would end right about here. If they were fired, and his submarine cannot fire missiles, it's an old diesel submarine. If they were fired, and trust me, we know where each one of his old shrimp boats are. Someone got mad at me for that comical map that I showed the other day. It was on Newsweek. I got it on Newsweek, and I've been searching all day to see if there's been any kind of new information. He goes, I can't believe you'd show them where our ships were. It was the funniest thing in the world, because if y'all know anything about the shipping lanes, let me just show you all the shipping lanes here. I was very nice, which is hard for me to do. I said, well, I didn't give them coordinates. It was a Newsweek article, and God, one of them should be highlighted because I use it. But I think we can use any of these. Ship tracking, real-time vessels. So I wanted to show all you guys, when you get down to Venezuela, there's this many ships, and this isn't a real good software program. So I didn't really give away our position, if you know what I mean. But some guy just lost it. I mean, his IQ must have been about 10. I was like, relax, dude, relax. It was a kind of like a pictogram in the Newsweek article. Let me see if I can get y'all a real map and show you how many boats are down there. There's going to be thousands of boats right off the coast. Thousands. This is a real model. I didn't have the time to show him this, but I need y'all to realize no one's giving anything away, because there are more boats than anyone wants to imagine. Look, I'm going to try to move in. I can hardly even see it here. I'm going to try to move into Venezuela here. Alright. Y'all tell me which ones of course the transponders are off on our destroyers. Tell me which ones the destroyers are. He yelled at me for giving away the locations. I did, at least I laughed. Because I was like, huh? Is this guy for real? He was totally for real. Argued with me for hours about it. I said, dude, could you pull up Ship Finder or something and just kind of get an idea of how many ships are in the area? And I didn't give him any, like, shooting coordinates or anything. Oh, there's some dumb people in America. There really are some dumbos. Alright. Alright, I think that's going to get us to. Alright, fires. We've got still a huge fire in the Northwest Territory. God, it's a big fire. This is causing a ton of PM 2.5. In Saskatchewan and Alberta, we have two more large fires. Some smaller fires here in British Columbia, as you can see here. This is up-to-date information. We can actually see them. This is Wawa Springs. We talked about that. These are some... No, what is it? 140,000 acres, mostly contained. 145,000 acres, 80% contained. Wawa Springs. It always gets hot around Wawa Springs. Now, I did want to point out, if Tiffany's around, well, yesterday they had a fire warning specifically put over Yellowstone. A red fire warning that almost covered Yellowstone perfectly. It did worry me. It was 15,000 acres, 22% contained. That must mean they know something that we don't. 4,000 acres, 40% contained. I think we looked at that one. 10,000 acres, 45% contained. That is contained. I'm not going to look at all of them. 27,000 acres, 74% contained. Over near Fresno, 21,000 acres, only 12% contained. You know, that's right there with my trees. Right there with my trees, guys. Don't leave my trees alone, please. This is... what are the name of these special trees here? Well, let's just say that they're not my redwoods. What are they? It's sad. You're trying to burn my trees here. 21,000 acres, 12% contained. These are brand new fires in Fresno. Sequoia trees. These are my sequoia trees. Sequoia National Park. Brand new fire. You can tell they're brand new fires because they'll come in as yellow and red for the day. They're brand new for today. We'll take a look around and we'll zoom back in, I promise. Alright, Wyoming. We look just south of the Yellowstone there. This is going to be up in Montana. 1,700 acres, 2% contained. That's not very good. 3,800 acres. A couple of small fires here. 0% contained. 0% contained. Those are problems. 100% contained. 3,100 acres. Right here on the border. 3,200 acres. 0% contained. 22 acres. Mostly contained. 3,500 acres is 0% contained. And 122 acres, 5% contained. 10% contained, 9,388 acres. 23,000 acres. This is a fire warning here. Or excuse me, this is not a fire warning. This is a fire warning here. This is called a red flag warning here. I think they invented fire warnings about 2 years ago. First time I had ever seen one. They're one step up from a red flag warning here. And 6,300, 7% contained. And that one is contained, 21,000 acres. 6,800 acres mostly contained. Now, I always like to zoom in, especially over in this part of the world, to get some of those new fires. Look at all, oh wow. Wow. We need some rain up north quick. I don't think I've ever seen that many new fires for the day. And I think that most of the people that have done this with me for years would agree. I don't think we've ever seen that many new fires for the day. Everything in red and orange is a brand new fire for today. And these other ones are continuing to burn from yesterday or day before. I'll keep it zoomed in. You can see brand new fires, and they're Redding, brand new fires in the valley. There's Lake Tahoe, brand new fire here, brand new fires. And then we get into Los Angeles. Look how many brand new fires. There's more actually in the valley than there is in Los Angeles for the first time ever. And if I zoom in a little more, watch what happens. You get to see all the fires burning in LA from today and yesterday. Now, you can't find another city like this. Boston used to be a lot like this, but things change. We'll leave it at that. Things change. People move. I believe a lot of this is people throwing their marijuana out or cigarettes out, because it's always starts on a road. Always starts on a road and goes from there. Now, what y'all don't know about Los Angeles is the people that live there have stolen all the fire hydrants, because you can sell the brass and the fire hydrants for like $200 or $300. So there's no way to put a fire out. So that becomes a problem, as you can imagine, right? That becomes a problem. All right. What I did is I used 24 hours basic mode. Everything here is 1,000 acres or larger, and just for 24 hours. The dark red is our new Landsat. It's very sensitive, but it only covers about 120 miles when it passes over. So there's Wawa Springs. These are all large fires around Wawa Springs. This is from NASA's GOES satellite. That's right, GOES, baby. GOES, baby. And you can actually see all the fires in all the areas of Canada, which I will show y'all what that's doing to central United States here. And then y'all can see all the fires that are now going over in Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and wow, around Wawa Springs. Well, it's gotten really busy up here in the Yukon and the Northwest Territory up here. I think that this will start to stop. I mean, I hope it will. It's that time of year. This is a global GOES. You can see that Brazil's rainforest is on fire. All the Congo. Remember that country that we're dropping all those people off on? This is it right here. Uganda. That's where we want to bring that guy from Massachusetts. I showed some of the tribes that maybe you could find a girlfriend at. There it is right there. It's going to be a hell of a good time. Pun intended. Pun intended. Uganda. These are all fires, and this is going to be, the Congo, right? The Congo. It's Madagascar, almost all of it's on fire. And for this being the rainforest, this is pretty clear. And if I show y'all a little trick, most people know it by now if you'll hang out with me. Watch my latitude. Watch my latitude up here. Let me get to 0. I can make a line at 0, and we see fires above it and below it, but not right on 0 for some reason. I don't know why. I think there's a bulge there. Alright, this is what we call air quality. We're measuring PM 2.5. Just 10 parts per million increases your lung cancer percentage by 36%. 10 parts per million. Watch this. That's 214 parts per million. Just 10 increase your lung cancer percentage. A lot of this in this area is coming from these volcanoes that are going off here. I'm going to show you all a real-time map of this flowing over the Gulf here, and most of it's coming from the fires that we all know or just saw right here, and here stuck in the Los Angeles Valley. There's 5 volcanic ranges. Looks like some real bad air quality there too, a 171. If you're talking about 10 parts per million of PM 2.5, which is the deadliest air pollutant known to man, because it's only 2.5 nanometers thick, and it goes through the blood-brain barrier and into the brain from the blood. Well, it's a killer. And by that I mean it killed over 4 million people in 2016. Just this air pollutant. The only things that cause it are nuclear reactions, volcanoes, wildfires, heavy industrial. That's about it. You can see the fires being, all that air being pushed down into this area, and we have fires right here too. Y'all saw. We get some bad readings up here in Canada. It's very unhealthy. I mean, look, it's on the uptick too. Could you imagine if 10 parts per million increased your lung cancer percentage by that much? And that's according to the International Research Association on Cancer and the World Health Organization. Because I wouldn't give y'all numbers like that. YouTube would be up my ass. Triple time. Welcome. God bless you behind the scenes. God bless you. Alright. That's right, Stove. And especially, I know, Stove, you kind of live up in the mountains, so you're probably safe, but like in the Los Angeles Valley, I've seen it get caught in that valley there. And it just get really ugly in that valley, surrounded by 5 different volcanic ranges. And we'll take a look at the movement now. You'll get a good idea of where it is and where it's coming from. Now I'm going to put it in motion. These are the fires. These are the volcanoes. I'm going to put the PM 2.5, which is what you're seeing here, in motion. Yeah, we're moving into tomorrow. Watch these 2 or 3 volcanoes here. Always pumping out PM 2.5 here. Every one of these is a volcano. I did a report on every one of them. Oops, sorry. And you can see all this pushing down and this pushing up. It just really dumps on the U.S. Really dumps. And this is just tomorrow at 3 p.m. Look at that PM 2.5 coming from these wildfires. up in Canada, guys. I mean, you got to feel sorry for the people that live there. I know we have a lot of subscribers that live there. Love them, feel sorry for them. But that shit is just covered. North Dakota, covered Wyoming now. And you can see it start to really make coverage in Washington State, Oregon. This is only the Wednesday here. You can see the Central Plains here. And if we just pick a spot, if we can, that's even past that 10 threshold. That's twice as much. 20 nanograms per meter cubed. When 10, increase your lung cancer percentage by 36%. We'll keep going there. Just to kind of give you all an idea of what's going on. So we're getting it from the volcanoes here, getting it from the fires here, getting it from the fires over here, and it is penetrating mostly into the plains, the northern central plains, and, well, I guess really a lot of the eastern plains as well here, and the Gulf Coast is getting hammered. And this is all the volcanoes over here causing it, as well as these are volcanoes in, let's not call it the Gulf of California, let's call it the Sea of Cortez. Can we? Alright, here we go. 60% chance of formation, 6-0, headed inbound, down and down and down, inbound and down. It looks like within the next 7 days we'll have some more fun on our hands, unless this is picked up by a northern front. There's almost a certainty that this will form into a tropical depression or storm or cyclone. So we'll have to keep an eye on this, and I will make sure that you guys are up on that as we do that. Boy, this is one of the prettiest days, that we've had. What is this, a heat warning? I believe it's just a heat warning, isn't it? Heat advisory, that's all that is. Red flag warning. A lot of fires could start over here. We saw the PM 2.5 and in the valley here. But that's about as clean as the U.S. will ever be. Alright, this is today's map. We had lots of rain in the southern part and central plains. We use a lot more rain, I'm afraid. Tomorrow, Tuesday, almost the whole country is covered by rain from all different directions. That could be a good thing. I don't see any real problems as far as tornadic activity or anything like that. And into Wednesday, almost the whole country is covered by rain again, except for where we really need it: Washington, Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming. This area here could use lots of rain, especially based on all the new fires that we saw starting today. Alright, we'll run this real quick. I just want to see if there's any weather manipulation that's easy to spot. I can see that they're seeding this area here. They're seeding this area here, trying to start some shit. All the late storms start right about here. All the late hurricanes start here, south of Jamaica, and work their way north. I don't see anything just, I can tell y'all, I can zoom in, and I can already see by the color of this, I can see the black here. Look, there it is. I got him. Look, busted. So that was their Doppler hit. I know what they're trying to do. Look, oh God, what a big bust that was. That was a huge bust. Not only are they seeding it right there on top of the Doppler, they're hitting the ionosphere with as much heat as Doppler can put out. That's what you're seeing right here. Actual weather manipulation at its finest. Is that coming out of Venezuela, or is that coming out of... It's coming out of Colombia, guys. Coming out of Colombia, which I believe that we own Colombia. I've seen this same Doppler. Let's see if we can zoom in and find it. Usually we can. Can I grab a better map? Alright, let me see. Look for the circle. Back up. See if I can find the circle. Here it is. It's in Corozal. And there's the airport there. What's this? What's this? Oh, this is exactly where it's coming from. 100% chance. And let's see if I can get an aerial view. Oh, they want more money. Well, we used to. They used to provide really cool maps, but regular would go to Google Maps or something. But this is where the Doppler is going to be located. Somewhere right around here. And regularly there's something that says U.S. Weather Center right on it, just so you guys know. It's regularly the same old, same old. It's always us attacking ourselves. Always. Look. Talk about nailed them to the fucking fence. Alright, we'll run through real quickly the next couple days. It's like clear sailing. I won't lie to you guys. Looks like we have a little hurricane off the coast here, headed towards Hawaii. But we'll take a quick look at that, because I did not show you that. And I don't want to be unprofessional. And there it is there. Kiko to tropical storm. And there it is right there. We'll let this run through. This is about as clean as the United States has ever looked. And how many thousands of times have we done this, guys? 1,000 too many? I hear that. So gosh, the U.S. is really, really doing well this week. Really, really is. What I don't see, let's hope that that hurricane gets caught up in this action and doesn't make it to the coast over here. Alright. With that said, I want to tell y'all how much I love you guys. And if anyone can help us with a cup of coffee, it's more than greatly appreciated. It's how we survive around here, on coffee. We'd like some herb, but we don't have any right now. But coffee will do. Grab our coffee link. And if anyone can help us with a cup of coffee, it's definitely greatly appreciated, because we'll be at it tomorrow. Katrina, I'm in the Woodlands, kind of north of Houston, but very close. I grew up in Houston. Went to Memorial High School over on the west side. West side. Hey, lots of love to everybody, guys. Thanks for joining us. Same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get some sleep even with the geomagnetic storm. And let's check on that damn geomagnetic storm real quick. Hey, thank you so much. God bless you for the super chat. Alright, still we're in G1 territory. I'll go ahead and I'm kind of like advanced, so I'll go ahead and grab look, you can see when we get hit. Someone came on and they told me that we got hit right here, and it's a friend of everyone's on Facebook. And I was going to be an asshole and say something. Luckily, I held my tongue, didn't say anything. And then all of a sudden, the shockwave did hit the satellite, as y'all can see. I was like, what the fuck are you looking at? I went back, believe it or not, thinking that she might know more than me, and re-educated myself about BZ and BT, realizing that this was not an impact, and then quickly thereafter we were impacted. I'll leave names out of it, but look at that impact. And we've seen no substantial plasma whatsoever. Gosh, 12. The fastest solar winds were not very substantial at all. One grab them, 675. If that was it, all is good. But they had this lasting through 4 p.m. tomorrow. And they do have it getting stronger, as we discussed. Hey, with that said, lots of love, guys. Y'all be safe out there and wear your tinfoil hats. Start to get a headache. We'll be back tomorrow with an early update. If we make it through the night. Love you guys. God bless. Remember. Thank you, Lori. Love you. Hey, remember, guys, anything is possible in bizarro world. Crazy. Love you guys.